and they retract completely into the surface of her flesh, or of the suit. As it does so, you just angle your forearm down a little bit so that you can see the readout. And as you do so, you see that a full and complete schematic has been uploaded to its memory and is accessible on just the unit that you have on your arm itself. You won't need any additional programming or software or anything like that. It's all ready to go. Okay, at this, it just kind of nods towards you, and then turns back towards the workstation and starts like looking just slowly at the machine itself, and kind of contemplating something, you would guess. Is there anything you'd like to do?
I'm just kind of watching in awe and trying to figure out what it's actually doing with these tendrils, and I'll be kind of messing with something, but really more focused on what they're doing.
Okay, and yeah, so they retracted completely.
I'm kind of just blown away because like this is like stuff that I've been like thinking about.
Yes.
If it's even possible in my own way, and this is like not necessarily how I envisioned it, but it's also like opening up my ideas to like how I could take my envisioning, what I was envisioning, and like being like, not only is it possible, but like there's multiple ways, because I can begin to see threads of my thought structure being applied, but in a different way, being like, I still think there's like my own twist on doing this and making it possible. And yeah, I'm just, it's kind of just like, like, I don't know how to give a metaphor or how to compare it to something in real life, but it's, yeah, I'm just kind of just like, holy shit. It's like someone, hundreds and hundreds of years ago dreaming of a flying machine, and then one day they see someone fly by in a plane being like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? Like,
right.
Like, yeah.
All right, good. So as you're kind of thunderstruck, it turns its head over to you and kind of snaps you out of it just a bit, saying,
Next. What is next?
Sorry. I'll just be like caught off guard because I was just like, oh, next. Yeah, right. And then I'll just kind of be bumbling over my words, trying to figure out something to jump on, but kind of just thrown off by what I had been witnessing. And I'll kind of just look at them blankly for a moment.
Okay, it looks at you, and it approaches actually closer than it's been before. It approaches and gets
Do I get
within
any sense of like cool or heat or anything off this? Like, if a person's close enough to you, if they are that close to me, there's sometimes a sense of warmth or whatever, or there's a presence. Am I getting any type of weird anything from this thing, or am I feeling warmth? Does it feel alive? Does it feel? Am I hearing any minor sounds or hums or buzzes, or is there anything that's different about this thing than like if I was standing next to like a regular person?
with several things. As you actually pay attention to it for the first time, you're noticing there's no sound whatsoever when it moves. It does have what appear to be almost like splayed. It would be almost like gorilla kind of feet, like primate feet, where it has an opposable thumb that is actually relatively long and slender like ours. And its feet apparently, it literally seems to have hands for feet. And as it moves, not only is it completely silent, but you notice that the outfit itself, it almost seems to try and avoid casting any harsh reflections or casting much light in any way at all. It seems like those plates purposely seem to angle themselves and maybe even shade themselves to make sure that it's not, kind of bouncing more light than is required for a stealthy situation. You do see that the strange metal that we discussed before that seems to make up the filigree and the highlights, that itself, even though it's pretty reflective by nature, as it comes into contact with a bright light source, it almost seems to dull itself and become more matte. Very interesting feature, and again, from the scintillation before and the prismatic effect that you saw taking place previously when it was having its kind of like whatever that was, its episode, it makes you almost think that this thing's able to turn itself invisible. It wouldn't surprise you that to find out that somehow it's able to bend light and has mastery of that kind of technology. So
I'm getting that more from it being a technology, not necessarily a spell being cast, because it was invisible when I first found it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And let's see. Other than that, you once again realize that it is definitely not breathing. And as far as really distinguishing physical features, it doesn't seem to have any kind of like genitals exposed. It's all smooth, but it does seem to have female breasts. And the way that the voice comes across, you're not sure, but you would guess that it probably is, quote unquote female. For whatever that means. You have no idea if this thing maybe started as a human, or this is how it has always been, or if it's some kind of robot. You really don't know. Other than that, yeah, that's about all you're picking up right now.
I'm just going to, have I gotten what I feel like is a pretty good understanding for what I can hear of the table that I've been kind of studying at the moment? There's more I can learn, obviously, about it, I'm sure.
Table's done.
But
You got good? You are completely done with the table. And you got instead of the like 30 to 40% that your efforts would have yielded, you got 100%. You're going to be able to dissect this information for a long fucking time and learn a lot from it. So
I guess then I'm just going to start poking away at some of the ideas I've had. One being that piece of chitin shell that Akama had retrieved on our first little hike when we saw the crustaceans by the water. I'm gonna start just inspecting that, breaking that down. I'm going to.
Okay, so as you get the piece of, as you go to your pack and you begin rummaging through, Geiger says,
Good. What is next? Tell me what is next.
I don't really know. I was just going to.
It says,
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for maybe a way to blend all of this, and I kind of just like motion at my, like look kind of down at my arms and kind of like flip my arms, like my forearms, to kind of rotate them in my hands into something more, I don't know. And then I like hold up the piece of chitin, and then I look at her again and go like this, and maybe even like you,
Okay, and it leans its face in close within about 6 inches of yours. And silently as it rests there, no breath, no scent, no image other than your own in its silvered mirrored faceplate, it breathes out some chilling words that send fear as well as hope racing through you in equal measures.
You hear the call. It spoke to you, and now you seek it. Yes.
I'll understand exactly what they're talking about when they say that, correct?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
I'm guessing I have, like...
Now, I'm going to leave this up to you to reveal what you'd like to the people that, to our viewers. But this has to do with a lot of backstory and some kind of secret plot threads that we've got going for Ren's character, so...
Well, quick question was that we went over this as backstory, but was there a device that I had and held onto from this, or was it I don't know if we ever went over.
It was basically imprinted in your mind.
Yeah, it was just imprinted. I don't have anything from that. It's just in me.
Correct.
Okay. I found something, and it and as I was inspecting it, something happened, and it was just a matter of moments, and I just had images, almost as if something downloaded into my brain, but not something that made sense to me. It was all jumble. Whether it be it's just the way it was displayed, or whether it be something that I couldn't comprehend because it was foreign to me, I haven't been able to make or ascertain much of what I guess you could say I learned.
Okay, and it says
The whisper. It eludes us as well. We search. We deal. We contract. And yet, every step seems to bring us further from our goal. And now, from our soul.
okay. And at this, it bows its head slightly, and you definitely pick up a note of remorse. Heavy remorse. Okay, after just a moment, it raises its head again, looking at you apparently, and very, very earnestly says,
We're well met, you and I. Beings of metal and flesh, and who knows what else.
With this, it waves at your prosthetics once again, and it says,
I have much to show you in the next few hours, and we will well be on our way with haste. I expect interruption, and time grows short. Let us open a new thread of research that can Contain the questions that are growing within you.
Okay, at this, it holds one hand slightly up in the air, about chest level, and splays its fingers wide with its palm pointing straight up in the air. As it does so, it says,
Use your enhanced sight once again, and we will begin.
okay, and at this, it just kind of nods to the goggles that apparently it saw you use previously, as it was observing you. Okay. So, yeah, you get the impression that it's telling you need to.
Okay. As I grab the goggles, can I also cast sense magic as I'm placing them on through the goggles, just to kind of get a read on this being?
Yeah,
See if
absolutely.
I can see magic emulated from it at all, an aura or anything, whether it be a light glow, a bright glow, no glow.
Yeah, and let's check
Small
on
glow.
the duration of your see the invisible, because it might still be turned on the
No,
goggles.
that would be off, I think. That's a short span, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay. I wasn't sure. Some of these are like 30 minutes per
no,
level.
It's 1 minute, so.
Oh,
If
okay.
they,
All
if they
right.
were cloaked, I would have just been talking to something that I knew was there, but it wouldn't have been, wouldn't have been seeing it unless it dropped its cloak. But yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, a lot of these spells for me are pretty short, boys.
All right.
I think a lot of them do grow though over time with maybe not this one.
Yeah, and a lot of your stuff has such flexibility, because if you take the time to put it into a piece of gear, you're gonna be able to, like, if you wanted
Mix
to
it with
focus
things or
on
add
it.
things in and be able to have it last longer. Or
Exactly. And I mean, you could definitely put research into
Tinker.
just making something last longer, you know? So, okay, so you go ahead and activate your sense magic. Go ahead and did you already click on that?
Gonna do it now.
Okay. So as you do, and you lower the goggles over your eyes, the magic of the sense magic flows in. And I'm sorry, you wanted to do see the invisible as well, or no?
I was gonna do that since that's what I believe that she was referring to.
Okay, good.
So that's what I was gonna do, but I was casting sense magic
Okay.
as I put them on, and then doing see the invisible as well. I'm not trying to be sneaky, but at the same time, I wasn't trying to let them know I'm casting sense magic. If they pick it up, that's fine. It was more of just pure curiosity. So I was trying to cast them like boom, boom, just so if it noticed I was casting something, if it had access to that knowledge or like that, maybe it wouldn't know what exactly I was doing. At the same time, I'm like, I prefer it not to know, but if it does, I don't care. It was more just kind of like out of curiosity. It's, kind of like, it's like someone, checking out cleavage real quick. It's like, shit, well, yeah, you caught me. I saw your boobs.
Right.
Well, at the same time, your boobs are showing, so, like, I looked. I'm sorry. Like, desired effect happened. It's like, I'm trying to check you out because you got all this crazy shit, and, I'm sorry if I just sense magic on you without asking. But shit, look at you. Like, you're fucking nuts. Like...
All right, so as you cast into the goggles your magical spells, you do it as surreptitiously as you can, and as the magic flows from you into them, you notice that this creature is paying very close attention, and as the energy flows from you into the goggles, you're literally able to see it in the mirrored reflection, although you know that there probably shouldn't be any actual visual cues from all of your experience with, I mean, you have a mastery of techno wizardry. So as you're doing these things, they usually won't make any kind of glow or arc or any of that kind of thing.
This
when
does
you
in the reflection. Okay.
in the reflection, absolutely. There's a bright, palpable aura that seems to flare into existence. As you do this, it kind of turns its head just a little bit to the side, and you notice that it seems to be very, very closely watching what you're doing. It's like looking from one side of you all the way to the other, and then like from the top of you and looking down. It's like you almost think that it's trying to take in everything that it can about what you're doing. Okay, as you do this, you lower the goggles, and as the goggles come over your field of vision and enhance your sight, giving you access to both anything magically cloaked, as well as to the kind of magical nature of things, you see this in front of you. You see that the creature, Geiger, raises her hands in front of her, and a bright sphere of energy that has a smooth texture like glass is standing before you. You know that this isn't the physical form that you're looking at, but you are astonished because whatever this creature is, it is touched by magic, but at the same time, it doesn't really have magical qualities. It is, in a strange way, almost like a stone or metal figure in a magical realm that is all natural and, organic. And so in that sense, what you realize you're seeing is almost an absence of magical aura from this creature. But at the same time, your access to the invisible, you're seeing a bright aura flaring from this creature that you have no idea what it is. It is literally a different fundamental energy than magic or psionics. Technology does not radiate an aura like this, none that you've ever heard of anyway. And your experience in metaphysics is fairly broad and expansive. So the fact that you are essentially seeing an entirely new form of reality manifested in front of you from what you currently knew is staggering. You wonder right away what the implications of this are and how it is that this being is able to exist in this plane of existence. It shouldn't really be able to do many of the things that it's already demonstrated its capabilities being presented to. And you also notice that the shimmering nature of the outer flesh, the shimmering kind of scintillating liquid texture that makes up this creature's form, the patterns are they are not naturally occurring. And so you're seeing all of these kind of geometric expressions of what you would guess to be some kind of mathematical equations repeatedly kind of ripple and shimmer across this thing's liquidy kind of metallic form. And that has many implications in and of itself. You almost feel like there's a hint of a technology-based magical energy that you're witnessing in front of you, but beyond that, it's beyond you. Far, far beyond you currently. Um, as this being looks at you and holds this sphere aloft, it says,
Time for us to move forward. What would you know? Speak it.
okay, and with that, it seems to wait.
So what did I find? What are you?
It says,
Me asking what I found, the thing that we have to share in common, and also what are you? Like, just purely out of curiosity and just in awe.
okay. Okay, at this, your comprehension of the space around you folds in entirely into the sphere itself. And as you feel yourself diving head first with your perception into this great, cool, glassy expanse, you notice that most of your physical sensation seems to drain away from your body. And you hear a very distant kind of thump, a thudding noise. And you wonder what that could be, but after just a moment, you don't care at all, because much like on the verge of a dream, all of your inhibition and will seems to just kind of fall away. You remain yourself, but you have now crossed over into a whole new kind of consciousness from where you just were. As your perceptions realign, just one moment. Okay. Are you seeing a black page now?
Hold on. I'm just seeing a grid.
Okay. So as your perceptions realign, the voice says,
This is what I am.
okay, and you see form before you a microscopic image unlike anything you've ever encountered before. As your perception zooms into a surface so quickly that you can't even identify what the surface was, you now see a great expanse of what appear to be self-replicating mechanical particles, unlike any substance that you've ever even heard of before. Now, you know from previous experience and research that things like nanoforges are supposed to control nanoparticles or nanites, and the most advanced form of this technology is able to break down constituent components to create more of itself. So self-replicating nanites are usually able to do what appears to be magic. And it's one of the more feared technologies from anything that you've heard of in your travels so far. Here in front of you, you see it represented, and as you watch closely, each individual sphere continuously is moving, reorienting itself, and as it moves about, collecting more and more of its smaller counterparts and growing. And in this way, new chains and structures build up instantaneously, faster than the eye can track. Now, you can tell that your perception is being manipulated slightly here, because there's no way that eyes would be able to actually perceive what you're really seeing. And something very fascinating is that you notice there's something else happening here on a different level, something you hadn't considered. Now I need you to roll a perception check. Oh, oh shit. Oh shit.
Did I done good?
Wow. Yeah, not bad, man. Not bad at all. Look at that, guys. Natty 20 on a perception check with a +2. 22. Good lord. All right. As you gaze at the image,
I think that was cocked. I'll reroll.
as you gaze at this image, you begin to realize that there are quantum forces at play here as well. Now, you unfortunately have not been able to do a lot of research into quantum mechanics and physics, and a newly emerging field of mysticism, quantum metaphysics. This is a very, very cutting edge field that mankind, now that he has scraped himself up from the ashes of the apocalypse and a several hundred-year dark age, is just starting to establish once again centers for learning, education, advancement, research, scientific study. Those things have no place when people are simply trying to run from the demons trying to eat them and find sustenance and food. But in this age, once again, they thrive. And so in this new renaissance, many different fields crossing the gap between magic, science, psionics, metaphysics, and so on are emerging, and the brightest minds are enjoying the challenge. Sometimes you must admit that there have been moments where you would you have dreamed of perhaps being someone who would be remembered as an Einstein or a Tesla or romance some individual that has made a significant and kind of romanticized impact on the culture of science itself. Somebody whose name will echo. And anyway, in this thread, as you're taking all of this in, you realize that the quantum connection here is incredibly important. And you see that for just a flash, you see that there's a way to access an even greater amount of data than you thought possible while encoding into something like nanotech, by moving into this other field. And this connection in your mind, it holds fast. You realize that this has shown you much more than you think it was even meant to, okay? And you also get some ideas of how you could apply this in different ways to future technologies of your own devising that are even more mundane objects and tools for war and so forth. So as you're checking this out, the scene quickly shifts, and you see a dark kind of fog cover your perception for a moment. And as it does so, once again, Geiger speaks to you, and she says,
Tell me what you would know. What do you seek?
I don't really know. it's this is very new.
Okay, it says...
Honestly, I can't really think of anything that he would think of that he would want to know yet. Like he's so green. He doesn't like. I mean, this whole everything to him has been. I mean, he already had his little freak out about so much shit going on because he couldn't understand. Couldn't take in everything. With Harmony, and this is just like. It's excitement at every turn.
Yeah.
He's just used to living, with some jackass family members in a fucking fucked up little fucking town.
Okay, so as you're trying to kind of take this all in, Geiger says,
Tell me of your prosthetics.
and it nods down to your limbs.
These were my reward for not doing, I guess, what my family deemed okay. Not something I wanted, and then something I've tried to live with since I've had and make more than what they can be, what they are, make them more. I don't know. It's a difficult question.
Okay. She says,
I'll say before she says anything, maybe this makes no sense to you, but have you ever had anything that part of you hates it more than anything, but it also is kind of what defines you, or has become to define? I don't define myself as being a person that has prosthetics, but it's kind of become my obsession to do what I do now because of this, if that makes sense.
okay, it angles its head in a way that you can tell it's very confused.
Yeah, I'm getting too deep for this fucking thing.
And you're able to sense it next to you in this space that you're in whatever kind of awareness or perception that you're experiencing right now. And as you're sensing it close to you, you're able to sense that it's definitely confused. And it speaks to you again in its mind as, again, there's a kind of gentle, dark, rolling smoke obscuring your vision. It speaks to you and it says,
I too was born from the infection. It is there, in your mind even now, and it grows.
Does this make sense to me at all? Also, real quick, to jump back to the images that were shown to me, do any of those things that I saw of those nanomachines that were constantly moving, that almost like, single-cell organisms reproducing, is kind of how I envisioned it, I guess. Did any of those images, did they remind me, or did I recall, seeing any of that in my vision, or is it all new info to me?
ah, there we go. Roll a perception check. Okay.
Follow that nat 20 with a nat 1. Fuck me.
All right. So as you're trying to, that's hilarious. As you're trying to discern how this could fit into the grand tapestry overall, as far as this monumental and life-changing vision that you've had from your past. As you're trying to discern this, a kind of miasma floods your mind, and you simply cannot recall. Something seems familiar, but it's just a complete fucking miss when you try and recall.
Big old brain fart. All right.
Now, as you do so, you feel, a moment pass, and once again the voice says,
"Your mind, it tries to recall. You try to remember, but cannot. There is a reason. There is more at play than you have known."
Okay, and at this, you feel this bright and pulsing kind of flood of energy fill your perception. And for just a moment, a strange kind of pressure is appearing just behind where your eyes would be, a pressure pushing inward on your mind. And it's a sensation you've only felt a few times in the past, when there was a kind of psionic connection being attempted, but you feel this one is kind of waiting and holding off. It's not really pushing, it's just making itself known. And once again, you hear Geiger's voice say,
"Permission to allow you recall."
I'll nod again.
Okay, and as you do so, now an explosion of information shatters your perceptions of your senses, and energy and data in its rawest form rush through your consciousness, creating new neural pathways instantaneously, essentially creating knowledge within your mind without any form of learning or patterning. And at this, as your sensations slip away into this new kind of bizarre awareness, this in and of itself is staggering to you, because even through meditation, ritual, magical practice, you've never encountered this particular kind of state of consciousness ever. As this intensifies and light fills every kind of sense that you could imagine, quickly the scene shifts, and you are now standing in a familiar place. You see before you the strange and alien mechanism that you encountered all that time ago. Now, you obviously do not see this scientist there, but the panels are the self-same ones that you and your cousin installed as you were attempting to recover scrap from the alien vessel that you had uncovered. As part of your old profession, you were something of a prodigy at this, and alien tech was your rapidly growing kind of favorite kind of treasure to hunt. And once again, you had become pretty renowned for your skill at it in just the short years that you had been plying your trade within your family's organization. Now, as you're once again standing before this incredible mechanism, you are not present in your physical body, but you can tell that this is definitely your memory of it. And as you gaze upon its structure, you recall the circumstance of the implantation of whatever the hell it was into your mind that left you kind of a pariah among your people and caused you to be ostracized, outcast, and mutilated. And as you gaze upon this machine, you now realize something staggering. Its structure you can directly parallel to the more fundamental structure that constitutes Geiger's physical form currently. Okay? As you make this connection, you hear Geiger say,
"That day that you heard the whisper, it became a part of you. A worm, tunneling, feeding, growing, but giving back a great and wonderful boon."
Now, as it says this, your vision fades again and is quickly replaced by another image. Now, as this image appears in front of you,
Which image? I didn't get another one.
sorry about that, here we go.
Oh.
As this image appears in front of you, you hear Geiger say in a hushed kind of whisper,
"The one who whispered to us watches us still. It wishes to reclaim the gift and bring us home. It sends minions."
Okay, and as it says this, you quickly are transported a good section of a continent away to what appears to be a icy and frigid land. Okay, and as this comes into view, Geiger says,
"It has waited a long, long time for a door. And now that the door is open, it comes."
Okay, now as it says this, you get the feeling that this, whatever this is, this place, this might be where it is actually from. This might be the home dimension or realm of whatever that entity that is connected to you inhabits. You've never seen this place before, and you're completely unfamiliar with this kind of terrain, topography. You have no clue what. You're positive that whatever these structures are made of, it's definitely not ice, but you have no clue what it could be. Although you can tell that it appears to be some kind of icy, barren, semi-Earth-like environment. Okay? Even the scale, though, is difficult for you to discern from this image that you're perceiving. Now, as that fades, you hear Geiger say,
"Its hounds come, and they will be merciless."
Okay, now as it says this, you're instantly taken spinning across a vast distance again, and as your vision solidifies, you come across what appears to be, at first, a random location in a kind of barren area, populated by what seem to be raging, screaming, uh, uh, highly advanced mechanical warriors. Okay, now you as you take the scene in further, you realize that the ship in the background, that seems to be some kind of relic or husk, um, it seems very familiar. And very quickly it dawns on you that this is indeed the ship where you found that original signal. Okay? And this, you're getting a feeling from something external that this is actually the current time, that this is happening basically right now. And as you realize that that is indeed the ship that you were just seeing inside of, where you had found that vessel, that containment unit that you had interacted with, you realize that what Geiger is telling you is that these creatures have just arrived at the site of that crash and apparently have found whatever they needed there and are now storming forward to look for, according to her, you and her both. Okay? As you watch these creatures for the next few seconds, you realize that the technology they appear to wield is far beyond anything even in the most advanced areas of Rift's Earth that you currently know about. These beings look like they must have an incredibly powerful basis using nanotech in ways that you haven't observed before, to be able to do some of the things you're witnessing them doing. These creatures are leaping easily 30 to 40 feet at a bound, just as a normal act as they're trying to traverse terrain quickly. They have all kinds of protrusions that look completely deadly for melee combat, and all of the energy signatures that they're putting off look like not only differing kinds of energy signatures, but extremely high power levels whenever you're seeing a flare or a vent of plasma or so forth. Everything about these things tells you that they would be more than a match for even a full squad of MDC armored military standard combatants of the current age. So as you're witnessing this, it begins fading away, and you get a feeling, some kind of empathic reading from Geiger in this shared experience, that there is a palpable sense of fear that is running through her about these creatures. As this fades, you are once again left in relative darkness, and Geiger says to you,
"You must choose whether you will give in or fight the control."
Okay. Is there anything you want to say?
Does that make sense to me at all? Like, I mean, have I felt any type of struggle with, since I've gained this knowledge or whatever I've gained from this vision, have I felt any type of loss of control, any pull, anything like that?
Nothing.
And then I mean, I'll do my head tilt in a light mockery of a friendly gesture, being like, you know, I understand what you mean there, but
Okay, she says to you,
The more you change, the more control it has. Mine, it is almost gone.
and once again you feel a palpable sense of kind of like fear wash over Geiger. Geiger then says,
I started like you. It was a small change at first, in another realm. When we came here, to this earth, to this time, we all changed.
okay, at this, go ahead and make a perception check.
Why can't that work? Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Excellent. Okay, now you remember as she says this that you were told previously that the members of Metadyne, that they had all changed, that they had been basically superheroes, metahumans in the world that they had come from, and when this entire group of them had been rifted to Rift's Earth, they all of their powers and apparently some of their personalities and traits had all been disrupted and mutated in some way. And this makes you realize that apparently Geiger is implying that her connection to whatever this force is was much, much less pronounced before she came to Rift's Earth. And when she did, she became what you see before her. Now at this, she says,
All I heard was whispers before we got here, and now I can't even hear myself anymore.
okay, waves of remorse, regret, and again fear bombard you in a tangible torrent coming off of her. This definitely concerns you because this is the only other being that apparently has any kind of connection to what you're going through. Okay? And even though it seems extremely advanced and powerful, it is terrified. Okay?
Gotcha.
All right. Now, as it says this, it follows up by saying,
You will talk to the one, the whisperer soon. You must have a plan, a purpose, a focus. And if there is a line, you must draw it for yourself.
okay, as it says this, the kind of smoky nature of what you're able to perceive starts kind of thinning out and dissipating. And as it does, you find yourself once again in the workshop. Okay? Now, as your eyes start to kind of flutter open, you find yourself once again here physically in the workshop, but you're now basically sprawled out on the floor. You believe that thump that you heard was you kind of collapsing forward and just kind of basically passing out. As you regain consciousness, you look up and you see that Geiger is once again standing in front of you in physical form. And as your head begins to kind of clear, Geiger looks down at you as you're kind of just sitting up and says,
"There will be a cost if the Whisperer wins and has its way."
Okay, as it says this, in its visor, in its mirrored faceplate, you see a strange kind of coalescing of color and stirring of image that produces, for the first time, what almost appears to be like an image, some kind of video image in the faceplate itself. Up until now, it's only been reflective. Now, this image, as Geiger looks down at you, is haunting. What it appears to show is some kind of techno-organic infection that you get the feeling that the intent is that this is going to basically run across this entire planet if left unchecked, and because of the nature of Rift's Earth, will eventually be able to spread everywhere, to all dimensions, all times, all realities. And this causes a shudder to go down your back. You realize that if it's strong enough to just simply be able to overcome all the other challenges in Rift's Earth, it's something that most other worlds would have no chance against at all, since this place is kind of a melting pot of some of the most powerful beings in existence. All right. With that, you're able to right yourself completely and have stood again. What would you like to say or do?
So, she's still here then, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure when I came to anything else.
Oh yeah, she's right in front of you.
You say you had whispers. Did you also have visions?
She nods.
They feel too real. I'm sorry, this was not what I was expecting, so I'm kind of clueless where to go with it at the moment. It's not like a bad thing, it's just...
No worries, man. Take your time. Hey, I'll tell you, I don't know how much time you have left tonight. I could use taking a real quick 5 minutes to use the restroom. We definitely don't need more than an hour to wrap things up. If you don't have that left, that's totally fine too.
I honestly don't. It's almost 11 and I gotta be up tomorrow at early for stuff, so...
Well,
I'll
what...
have to finish it at the same time. I don't think I got an hour.
Yeah, no worries, man. Why don't we go ahead and cut it there?
Okay.
And then we'll come right back, because this is actually a pretty good place. So,
Honestly, before we do our next session, can we speak a little bit too? Because I feel like I'm just like To be perfectly honest with you, like, I knew.
And now, bow your head for the patrons. BKZJT, Rapid 3642. Andy Sasa, Nova Rose, Kelly T, Tommy Gunn. The Z24 Colts, Jess H, It's. If you would like a special thank you at the end of each of my videos, and some other cool stuff as well, visit patreon.com/homegrownlore. Thank you.